Clans of Caledonia by Karma Games comes with a lot of wooden pieces, cardboard tokens, player boards and a modular game board. Fitting everything in the box while keeping things organised isn't easy. It's a very tight fit if you separate all different pieces into baggies or small plastic containers. However, the insert from Folded Space sorts everything neatly into separate boxes. Inserts are generally useful, and the Clans of Caledonia insert is no different. Not only can you safely store all components and boards neatly into the original game box, but setup time is greatly reduced because you can quickly hand out player tokens to everyone and put resources and coins in reach of people, and set up the game board, enter own goals and contracts without fuss. Putting everything away is also very quick, and once everything is back in the box, the lid closes nearly fully, with only standing a couple of meters proud, which is really hardly noticeable. As with all inserts, it takes some time to put everything together, but the parts punch out very easily and the instructions are fairly good, consisting of mostly illustrations, making it relatively easy to work out what parts go together. In fact, related parts are grouped together on the same foam sheet, so it should be no trouble to find what you need. I found a couple of things that weren't fully clear, but only took me a couple of minutes to work out for myself. For example, it wasn't clear to me that there were two of some of the containers, but when I ended up with extra pieces, it became clear what they were for, so it wasn't a real issue, even for a first timer like me. The foam is pretty sturdy due to the coating, and when each box is assembled, it is very strong. It needs only a little glue to keep things in place, and the insert is very light, which is great because Clans of Caledonia is already a fairly hefty box, especially if you've upgraded to the metal coins. Speaking of which, the containers easily support the metal coins, which is impressive, given how much weight there is in those coins. It's the first ever insert for me, so I don't have any comparisons, but I feel the Folded Space insert does a great job of keeping everything in place inside the box without anything rattling around too much. That means you can easily take the game with you to a friend's house without worrying about facing a heap of loose components when you open the box at the other end. Folded Space make inserts for a large number of other games, and I would recommend you look at their website to see if there's one for your game. Just bear in mind that the table presence of a foam insert isn't as impressive when compared to a wooden one, especially if the wooden one has been stained or otherwise customized. But to be honest, when playing Clans of Caledonia you don't really look at the containers, as the focus is on your player mat and game board, as well as the contracts, market, etc. However, it might be different for other games where the insert might be a more integral part of gameplay, so it's something to consider if you decide to buy an insert for your game. Speaking of which, also check out my article Keeping It In, where I discuss inserts and other storage solutions in general. See the link in the description. As I say, I'm really impressed with this particular insert and very happy with the overall quality and durability of the product. So have a look and see if one of your games could benefit from a Folded Space insert. Thank you for listening to this review of the Clans of Caledonia insert by Folded Space. As always, if you have Apple Podcasts, but used to be iTunes, please star it and review it if you could. Any other platforms for podcasts, please do the same that you can do there. Also, tell your friends about this podcast and everything else I do. That would be really very much appreciated. Have a look in the description of this podcast to find links to my Ko-fi and Patreon page, so if you want to support me financially. There's also links to my Twitter feed and the blog, of course. But other than that, thanks very much for listening to the Tabletop Games blog podcast, and I hope you join me soon.